How will my house get divided while going through a divorce? As always, in family law, the number one question to ask is this piece of property community or separate? Under the assumption that the piece of property, i.e. your marital residence, was acquired during the course of your marriage, the presumption the court will make is that it's community property, i.e. the court has the ability to divide it amongst the two of you. From a practical perspective, is it likely that you and your spouse are going to continue to own that home together after your divorce? Probably not. It's also very easy for the court to simply say, you say it's worth A, your spouse says it's worth B, let's just get it sold and the market will determine what it's really worth. But does that make practical sense for you? It may not. When dividing a home within a divorce, it's very common to first get an appraisal done by a third-party appraiser. How is that going to be paid for? Well, as always, reach an agreement or go ask a judge. You have the ability to ask the judge if party A or party B should pay for it, or simply you can agree to say, hey, I'll spend the $300 now because in the long run, it very well may be worth it to have a firm number that we can present to the court about what our house is actually worth. If there's a substantial amount of equity in the home, it's incredibly common to say, I want to keep all of that equity. Why wouldn't you? As I say all the time, dollars in a home or equity or liquid cash is potentially more valuable than a retirement account. Why? Well, if you were to refi, you get to keep that money, typically tax-free. If you have equity in a home, but you don't plan on staying in that home or you don't want that house after the divorce is over, you may still be entitled to some of that equity back to you. Practically speaking, how does that happen? The court has the ability to get you equity out of your home in a handful of ways. Number one, you can have a lien against the person keeping the house, your soon-to-be ex-spouse, for X amount of dollars. The judge may say, hey, spouse A, you can keep that marital residence, but you have to get spouse B X amount of dollars by a date certain. And your failure to do so allows that other person to come in and ask for that home to be sold. If the house were to be sold, the other spouse or your ex-spouse would get the equity they're entitled to, and theoretically, after all the other costs of the sale, you'll get to keep what's left. Of course, if you agree for the house to be sold, in theory, that should be substantially easier to figure out who gets what. As always, you can divide up any property in any way you can agree upon. But if you were to go to court, the court's going to ultimately take what you may get versus what your spouse may get and see what makes the most sense when dividing up all of your community property as a whole. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you're unsure if you should keep your home, sell your home, or just exactly how your individual situation may play out in court, feel free to give us a call at 817-203-2220. Otherwise, you can find us at versestexas.com.